Are you tired of being standard and poor? Are you tired of waking up on the wrong side of the standard deviation? Tired of being a bell curve climber? Now, don't lie. You can't lie to yourself. And you can't lie to me. I make too much money to be fooled by a wagey. You're probably exactly those things. You probably fit those parameters pretty fucking closely. I am here to tell you, in this video, there is a way out. There's a way out of the cage, there's a way out of the wage. And not just in a really fruity entrepreneurial sort of way, or in the abundance of life and health and so on and so forth I tend to talk about in my other videos. What if there was a path to abundance, conventional, comprehensive abundance, abundance with a number on it, still available to you? The last get-rich-quick opportunity for planet Earth, if you can believe it. This is it. This is the last one, the last opportunity through this golden age, through this great renaissance, to make it big. I'm the Count of Coins, and this is a very important video. This will be the #1 video you want to watch of all my videos. So here it is. I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm not going to bury the lead any further. There's a simple rule you can follow. X marks the spot. That's all it is. In particular, there's 5 X's I have in mind. 6 X's, depending on how you look at it. XRP, XLM, XAU, XAG, and X the corporations. Twitter, SpaceX. For reasons known but to God, somehow trading has gotten divinely easy. You just go with X. You follow the X's. The treasure is there. It's that fucking simple. You've probably heard of some of these like XRP and maybe XLM. You probably don't know what XAU or XAG is. It's really simple. We'll get to it in just a second here. You might be a little annoyed by the way I've named these, but trust me, it is the proper ticker symbol when you're a trader. So anyway, first things first, we start with the Mac Daddy. We're going to start with XRP. Now, each of these that I'm suggesting is different and valuable and necessary in its own way. So XRP is the first one. XRP is the, if you don't already know, if you're the last person on earth to know, XRP is the wholesale, transnational, interbanking solution for what will be a CBDC era very soon in the future. And you can watch my other videos on this if you have questions or curiosities. It is not going to be the currency that CBs use. So CBs are going to have their own homegrown. That's what a CBDC is. It is a central banking crypto created and run cryptocurrency. So they're going to have their own homegrown alternatives, and we talk about that in the other videos. The Amero, the unit, or the whatever the Enbridge is going to be called. And so they're going to be totally controllable CB created ones, but not every single nation, not all 250 on Earth, and not all of them are going to have solutions to be interchangeable. There's only going to be one ring to connect them, to bind them, and in the darkness potentially rug some of them. There's only going to be one that is going to be truly wild, wild west and not controlled by a central bank, and that interbank transnational wholesale solution, especially for smaller banks and smaller countries around the world to also be interchangeable with larger banks, is going to be XRP. Simply put, there is no way it's going to be another Teldar. This time it's different. XRP is going to be the real deal. It is hovering. If you're like me and you bought it at 49 cents, you had years and years and years to do that. It is now hovering between 2.5 and 3.5. It's going to be close to $9 to $12 by the end of this year, and then at some point in the next 2 to 3 years, it's probably going to launch during this adoption, this CBDC adoption phase. It's going to launch into the 200s, and it's never going to come back. And for a certain period of time, it may even go higher. I know some people throw around the $10,000 figure. I don't think that's I don't think that's likely anytime soon. But $200, you better believe $200 is 100% happening before the end of the decade. You can quote me on that. You can return to this video. It's going to be up for it's going to be up till 2030 at the very least. If I'm wrong, I'll give you all my XRP. It's a great deal. Okay, so recommendations. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just an extremely wealthy person, which makes my advice a little more valuable, but less legally liable. So here we go. The recommended purchase floor, if you're interested, is 1.5 to 5.5. So this is the area you want to get in on. So it's still in that it's in that range right now, so you're in luck. And you want to load up while you can. I do recommend There's a couple months that you want to look into, particularly this month, February, March, April, July. Those would be good months to load up before we're into that $9 to $12 range. That's XRP. Very simple. That's one of the 5. Number 2 out of 5 of X marks the spot. XLM. XLM is the retail accessory to XRP. So you don't actually spend or buy anything with XRP because it is an interbank solution. What you would do is you'd use XLM as a retail accessory, and it would be a digital situation. So if you'd want to spend money on Amazon or some other website that uses it, a major merchant, you would use XLM to make those purchases. Now, XLM is likely to coattail XRP for a whole number of reasons we don't need to get into, but you do want to expect individual economic regions, Europe, North America, the Asia to Asia Pacific area, Middle East, Russia, China, BRICS type situation, which is going to have, again, so watch the video. They will have their own retail digital currencies created by the central banks. Even under the Trump administration, this is going to happen in North America. It's probably going to be called the Amero or the Camaro, and it will be a joint Canadian, Greenland maybe, but Canadian, American, Mexican, and maybe a couple more. We'll see how that goes. Central banking currency. And again, this is, when I say central bank, I don't mean Federal Reserve, okay? Things are going to be a little different in the future. More on that in another video. So XLM is the coattail to XRP as a retail solution. It's not going to go as big or as far because there are going to be parallel comparatives. That is the homegrown, regional, or national central bank digital currencies. But you can take XLM anywhere in the world. You can't necessarily do that. They might be geofenced. Many of these, particularly the BRICS one, will be geofenced most likely. And or they will have really nasty digital IDs attached to them, like social security numbers that are grafted onto your skin or even implanted in your hand, just really weird stuff like that, where they can guarantee, especially in these poor, high population countries, that you are who you say you are, and therefore you can get the benefits of this programmable currency for their programmable population, which will probably include benefits like access to welfare or UBI or something like that. Well, that's another video. If that's blowing your mind, watch the other videos. Trust me, it makes a whole lot of sense, unfortunately. Okay, so that's 2 out of 5. XRP, XLM. Now for XAG. XAG is one of my favorites. If you don't know what I'm talking about, a hint, it's the AG. Argent, it's silver. XAG is one of the primary ticker symbols for silver in derivatives markets and so on and so forth. Silver has the lowest barrier to entry right now. So if you don't want to deal with cryptocurrency, if you don't understand how it works, and you don't like the idea of things that can be... It's about as easy to steal crypto as it is to steal precious metals. The difference being that you can keep a cryptocurrency in your mind by simply remembering the seed phrase. Can't necessarily do that with any other form of currency, regardless of how shiny it is. But silver has a very low barrier to entry. It's simple. You buy it, that's all you got to do. There's really nothing else to it. You can buy it in coins, rounds, fractional coins. Most people will buy coins in silver, unlike gold, is popular because it has a low barrier to entry, again, through price. It's usually about 2 to 4% above spread, and you really want to aim for that 2 to 4%. It's unlikely you'll get it under 2% spread unless you're buying a really large, very large purchase. But if you want to spend less than $1,000 or less than $2,000, $3,000 total, then you're going to get that 2 to 4%. Now, you're also going to want the minimum purchase floor is probably going to be $199 or $200 because that is the value. Sometimes it's $299, but usually it's about $200 where you get free shipping. You get free shipping at $200 above. This is sort of like an industry standard for online precious metal retailers, and that is an actionable investment for most. Most people can spend $200 as an investment. You can spend $200 that month for alcohol, or you can do something good for your life. You can invest in your net worth and your life worth by putting $200 into silver. Silver makes more sense from an exchange and barter perspective because it's a smaller denomination, particularly if you do fractional, like 1/10 or ounce grams, whatever. It makes it easier to, in a situation, it would make it much easier to purchase food or small goods. You would, if you're stacking gold, you'd have to cut a gold coin into fingernail shavings to get that equivalent shopping efficiency. Okay, it's just not very good for that kind of thing. It's very unlikely we'd ever be in a situation where you'd have to spend weeks or months buying food with coins like that. Again, we'll talk about why, unless you live in a developing country, that's very unlikely to ever happen. You're much more likely to be in a situation where there's rationing. Rationing gets you, each household gets a guaranteed portion of something. Very unlikely you'd be able to go in with gold and like buy out a fucking Costco or something. That's just, it's not gonna happen, dude. Sorry, I know that's like a prepper fantasy. It's just not gonna happen like that. Now, what about prices? Well, silver is not gonna go to the moon quite like XRP or XLM is. I don't have a price target for XLM other than probably about $6 to $8 by 2028, 2029. I don't know if I mentioned that. It's not that important, to be honest, compared to XRP's price target. But silver is a little bit harder to estimate because you should expect there to be more deposits found via technology and through state transparency, where they release the actual reserves they're sitting on, which are going to be, they're always going to be marked higher than what they're currently reported at. So it's going to affect prices over the years, but I would expect somewhere between 150 and 170 by 2028, 2029. Keep in mind it's about 32 to 34 right now, so you have a lot of time to get in. I would, if it's getting over 50, I'd start to sweat. This is a great time to buy. Of course, everybody who collects commissions says that I'm not collecting any commissions, even if I do. In full disclosure, have positions in all of these. The 10 million people that are going to watch this, 10 people that are going to watch this video are not going to influence those prices. But we've all heard the saying, right? It's obviously not just going to be XAG, it's going to be XAU. You're not going to have one precious metal and not the other. Obviously, make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver, the other is gold. Everyone knows that saying. The next X marks the spot asset. The next big one for this golden age, this great renaissance, is XAU gold. What a twist. It all started with gold. Human history, everything comes back to gold for some reason. It's what got us here, and you know what? It's what's going to end it all with a fucking beautiful golden age, a big flash of golden wealth and golden other things. It's all about gold. The history books will one day show that. So, and I'm not talking about Reddit gold. I'm talking about real gold. Gold has a higher barrier to entry than silver. Fortunately, in this day and age, you don't have to genetically engineer or uplift some local sapient species to do all your gold mining for you. And you don't have to take giant machines and land them in the ocean and process ocean water to find gold either. You can just buy it on the market. There's tons of gold everywhere, sort of. We'll talk a little bit more on that in a second, but let's talk about the use cases. Why not just silver, for instance? Well, gold has some use cases that silver does not, particularly in long-term demand. Yes, silver has its place in certain technologies and weapon systems, absolutely, but gold has more staying power in super advanced technologies. It's gonna be a little bit more lasting into the long run. Your sensitive systems, your necessary systems, they're gonna continue using gold regardless of how technologically developed we get. At least that's what my Boeing Phantom Works pal would say. So, you want to think bigger than jewelry. Save your boomer, gold bug, whatever. Like, ooh, shiny rock. It has actual uses in advanced technology for the foreseeable future. And plus, the Indian women industrial complex for holding gold is it's unstoppable. It'll never be beaten. Gold will always have a great floor thanks to them and technology. Okay? Tomorrow's technologies. Also, consider, again, we're going to go back to that silver argument about reported reserves. You want to consider, there's another way of looking at it. So, nation states developing and developed have hoarded and treated gold as a reserve metal, but not officially. They have used, spoiler, you're going to find this out sooner or later, officially, like in the news. But gold has been used to make all sorts of deals to finance all sorts of things by nation states, particularly in the special projects arena. Things that they do not want to be associated with the flag. And so many countries have a reserve, $1 billion, $10 billion, hundreds of billions of dollars worth of gold that they just don't tell investors because there's no fucking reason to. Sorry. In other words, many have large amounts in vaults that are not always properly accounted for because of strategy or national interest or black ops or unaccountable shady deals, especially in the great powers like the United States, Russia, and China. They have a whole lot of gold. Emphasis on, let's say, hundreds of billions of dollars worth that they have not reported. Why is this a big deal? Well, because not only is it at first, price will react negatively to these revelations, but over time, people realize this proves demand. This proves the value, and so it'll have a remarkable... It's not going to go to the moon because it's gold. It will go to the moon through technology, but not through price lines and candlestick bars or Renko bars, whatever. It's not going to go to the moon that way. Finally, why gold over silver? This is really the crux of it, okay? Because they've been having and holding these reserves for so long, just throughout the centuries, different countries have pulled together these large piles of gold. You've heard about them kind of in history books. Well, they haven't disappeared. They've just gone into hiding. The piles of gold are there. Piles of silver, you never really hear about those, unfortunately, and that's for a reason. Again, it's just historical, cultural. The story began with gold. It's going to end with the golden age. That's how it goes. But in this era, in this window, this great Renaissance window, the gold, it'll comprise the biggest share in a pegged or stable state digital currency. So, for instance, when we're talking about the Enbridge credit or unit, whatever it's going to be called, or the NAFTA's Mero or Camaro, it would most likely have precious metal backings comprised of at least a third in gold. Real gold, not red and gold. There might be some stragglers like silver and platinum, maybe lithium. There's a chance of lithium too, and because of the energy dominance narrative, potentially oil as well to finish it all up. Yeah, lithium is going to be uplifted to precious or near precious in the future, but that's a video for another time. Okay, price targets. We're looking at 9K an ounce in 2029. Isn't that easy to remember? 9K in 2029. I'd go higher, but I expect more deposits to be found via technology, just like silver. Okay, so what about number 5? We've got XRP, XLM, XAG, XAU. Finally, the X.com currency and or Starlink. I'm not exactly sure. The X.com currency is going to happen. It might be a bit of an ugly happening, but it is going to happen. And because it's going to be loosely backed by the Musk network, SpaceX, which is Starlink, which will be a global internet system. It is a global internet system, but it will be key for an omnipresent blockchain. Again, a very, very powerful backing. If you have literally the one and only global internet system, you have the biggest in the English-speaking world social media platform by far. The biggest instant sort of transactional social media platform. Not how many hours you spend up, but frequency of sending messages back and forth. This is where the transactional system that will eventually come with X will be very, very valuable. So I would see an X.com currency would not be made from the ground up. It would be partially backed or comprised of something stupid like Dogecoin because it's Musk, and then something reasonable like BTC and Ethereum or Solana being part of the infrastructure, or perhaps the currency itself, as part of a basket, basically. I would expect this before the end of the year, by the way, at least to hear about it coming out at the end of this year. And I think this is one of the several reasons Musk has been chasing Trump around, why Trump is doing his own cryptocurrencies. There's going to be a bit of a battle for this when we go into the reserve recession occurs, which is the event that I've been referring to, where the Federal Reserve will essentially be legally replaced with a CBDC type system that's backed by gold in reserve, but in practice utilized through a cryptocurrency transaction system, and other countries that will also follow suit. But that said, Trump's got his own stuff going on, messing around, playing around in the arena. I don't think the Musk's X currency solution will have Trump's official sanction because of this Wild West scenario, but it will probably be again, Trump is going to side with the Amero or the Camaro or whatever the fuck it's going to be called. And this will probably be a parting issue between the two of them. I don't think they're going to be best buds forever. They'll still be buds. Musk's X currency, first of all, he's probably the biggest influence in the world right now. I'd argue Trump used to be, but I think he is now. He's got Starlink, which is going to be critical for any sort of global digital and blockchain infrastructure because it's less invasive than sea cables and more resilient. Sea cables can be destroyed, as we've seen. Somebody is destroying all of those in Northern Europe, and that's before disasters and earthquakes and other things may play a part in the Pacific. And so either way, Musk is going to be tangentially involved in the state digital currency revolution this year, next year. Not exactly sure where the reserve recession will begin. The earliest point it would start would be in March or April. So there's other Xers with that'll follow on some coattails. I think Maddox ends in an X. It still counts. OXT, it has an X right in the middle of it. There it is. You can see it. Still counts. These are other X marks the spots that I would look into. I'm not going to go into greater detail on them. Do your own research, you fucking read. Special mentions that don't have X's in them: Algorand, Cardano, Chainlink, Uniswap. You know, check them out. Unless you're testicularly challenged, then don't. It's not. None of this is financial advice. Like I said, I'm too wealthy to have to do that kind of thing. I just want to provide information, insider information, that has been legally provided to me for all of you Funko Pop collecting Hylics out there that need a lift up. Okay, the soyed out Norwoods who need a little bit of help, who want to be a part of this golden age in a abundantly comprehensive way. This channel is all about abundance. It's all about maximizing, about living in abundance, which is the process of maximizing your net worth and your life worth. It is a comprehensive abundance. It's good health, it's good wealth, and it's good mental health too, if you want to separate that from the first. One of the three is not enough. You want all three. There's no reason why you can't have all three, but this is going to be your last opportunity to make it big if you want to make it big. For some of you, this will seem obvious. For the rest of you, well, you know, the rest of you are the type of people that follow the school into the net and will just think it's all nonsense, all made up, which it is. But you know what isn't made up? The one maxim I'm always pushing, besides X marks the spot: sound money equals sound mind. Never forget this, no matter what you do in the markets or with your money, sound money equals sound mind. It's really all you need to know. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you on the margins.